What's going on, world? It's your boy Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World, and I'm back talking comics. Y'all know that's my first love, and Oni Press is delivering a second printing of Free for All. If you missed it the first go round on April 30th, we'll have a brand new reprint issue of Free for All. And as you see on the screen, I have the comics creator behind it, writer, artist, Patrick Horvath. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Definitely. It's a pleasure. I had a great time reading this. It helped fulfill some of the feelings I'm feeling with the current state of the world and everything. So it helped me get some of those frustrations.
Yeah, strangely prescient. And it's funny because I had been working on it for a bit. So
Yeah.
it's wild that it's finally seeing, shops right now at this very moment. Who knew?
Who knew? Yeah. So where did this gem of an idea come from? When did the apple hit you in the head to make you put fingers to keyboard or pen to pad to start Free for All?
It came out of the wake of the 2016 election in the U.S. I was having a lot of heavy feelings about that. And a lot of it to me stemmed from the root of just income inequality is what it felt like. And so it seemed like, boy, if we could deal with that and then maybe even go like a step further to have like universal health care and like all these things, it's like, God, that would be great. And then also I want to say around 2010, there was this thing that Warren Buffett and like mega rich guys, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates put together called the Giving Pledge. And the initiative was like approach super wealthy people and basically be like, so we want you to sign this pledge. And in doing so, you would commit to donating half or more of your wealth to philanthropic pursuits. Which is like another, like rich people doing philanthropy is a whole nother thing that's also has its own baggage for sure. But just the notion of it, of like, yeah, they should be paying their taxes, right? Like they should be giving back. And I was like, what if there was some initiative that was like forced upon the wealthy to do that upon like pain of death or something? I was like, or what if they had the choice, but if they didn't want to donate anything, they could keep it, but they had to fight to the death. And I was like, that's funny. Let me like, and it was like, and I bet, and the thing is, it's all voluntary. Like most would probably donate, but there would be some that would just be like, they're basically psychopaths slash like very, just like egomaniacal. So the idea of like giving away anything or whatever that they quote unquote earned, like it would be like enough that they would fight to the death for it. And I was like, to the amusement of the world, like that's what it would be. And so then that's where it came out of.
I dig that. And it feels so close to reality right now and not too far. Maybe a year. I'll probably lessen. That's just how dismal I feel right now with the world. But
yeah, right.
So obviously it feels like this, once that germ hit, that idea hit, like you were putting fingers to keyboard and rocking it. So did it take you long? How was that? But then what is you actually, so how long did it take you? Because I'm a process guy as creatives,
Sure.
we all love the process and how we operate and get flowing. With you doing the chores of writing as well as illustrating this book, I'm curious how long it took you and all of that. So, yeah, so from idea to storyline, how did or kind of did you do a mixture of both dialogue? What is your process when putting
Sure.
Yeah.
The honestly, I think this was the first project that I did where I was really figuring out how I want to work. Because I'd done small stuff before this and I'd drawn a few like tiny self-published things for other writers as well. But I think I saw like this awesome piece of advice from Greg Pak talking about like how you chew up a page. Like how do you eat the elephant, like one bite at a time, right?
Yeah.
So like it was something to the effect of like, there's the first, you got to have the main story to even know what we're looking at. And then it goes to like page. And on the page is like page 1 through whatever you've got. What happens on each page? Just one sentence. What happens on each page? And then beyond that, you zoom in a little more and you're like, okay, well, how many panels do we need to tell that sentence? You know what I mean? And then what's in each side of each panel? And then all of a sudden you do the dialogue and now you're rolling, right? And that's how you basically lay the track for the script. And I was like, I can do that. I like that idea. Because I hate getting stymied by I used to write screenplays by doing which I have a whole nother life of like writing and directing independent horror movies. And I've been writing screenplays since like the year 2000. So like I've definitely written a bunch. And in writing those, I would just straight up, we would do like, and I've written with other people too. And my buddy Dallas Hallam, like I would co-write with him. So in co-writing, it was really easy to just come up with the beats together.
Yeah.
When you get into the minutia, I cannot like write dialogue with somebody in the right next to me. I cannot do that.
Yeah.
You're trying stuff out and you're trying to like, you're acting in your head and stuff. And so like we would go away and do that on our own and then come back and then we would share and read. But the anyway, but it got to the process of actually like taking the big beats and putting those down and seeing if just the big beats worked. And then once we felt good about that, then you can start getting into the details. But like there's less time for me spinning my wheels if I can at least know that the full story works.
Yeah.
Because I've also done the other move where I'll write from the beginning, like page one, then this happens, what happens, and then this could happen. You sort of let the story, reveal itself that way, but you can also go down some dead ends that way. And I've written whole screenplays where I got to the end and I was like, nah, like that was just whatever,
Yeah.
I mean? And so, so anyway, with Free for All, I very specifically kind of took that advice that Greg Packett had shared, and then also my own experience with just like how I like to do screenplays, and then that's kind of how I divvied it up. So I kind of chewed it up as the big story beats, and then I put those across the pages and figured out how that would flow. And then once I was cool with that, I started laying in the details and doing the panels. And then while I'm doing that, also I'm kind of real rough layouts.
Yeah.
Just like shapes, basically, of just kind of how the panels would work and how the flow would be on the page. And then at that point, I just started drawing. So I had the script done probably like definitely by the end of 2017. And then I just slowly started doing the art in between like day job stuff and also working on movie stuff. So day job stuff, I was doing like marketing with a credit union. And then also doing side projects like graphic design stuff. And then I was storyboarding on like little indie features and things.
Mm-hmm.
And then randomly I also worked on special effects for some movie stuff and whatever, just random whatever. But in between, I'd be like drawing a page here and page there, whatever. And finally finished it like 2020.
Yeah.
And then so that was the only thing that took so long, was just finding the time to draw it. And then I just put it out, like whoever wanted to read it. Nobody knew who I was at all. And then, but I had something that I could show people as an example of my work.
Yeah.
And like, for instance, W. Maxwell Prince, who is the writer of Ha Ha and more famously Ice Cream Man. But he was putting together this anthology of sad clown stories called Ha Ha. And I had done a cover for Ice Cream Man, and he was curious if I wanted to do a interiors for a whole issue for this Ha Ha anthology. And I was like, yeah, would love to. And he's like, and just to ask, do you have any examples like sequential stuff you've done? I was like, as a matter of fact, here's Free for All. And so he was like one of the first that read it.
Nice.
And then that's kind of how it happened. So, and then Beneath the Trees showed up, and I had the opportunity to do that. And then based on that, Zoop campaign had seen that and was curious to put it out through a Zoop campaign to supporters. And there were some that did that, and that was awesome. And then while that was happening, Oni reached out and they were like, hey, what's going to happen after the Zoop campaign's done? I was like, it's going to go right back onto my hard drive. Like, I don't like nothing, basically nothing's going to happen. You know what I mean? And then they were like, would you be interested in giving it a home with Oni? I was like, that would be incredible. Yes.
Yeah.
Very interested. And so here we are. So that's a long, like, A to Z of how it happened, but it's a wild, wild ride. And like we just said at the start of this, like, at no point before would this have hit as big as it, like, been as prescient as it would be right now.
It's crazy timing.
Isn't that crazy?
I think good for you though. Like,
well, I mean,
are gonna live through what we're experiencing right now through the book. And like, damn it, if we can only have Trump versus Musk right now. Although I think that's an easy kill for Musk, as much as I hate Musk. I think Vance versus Musk would be a much better challenge, because that orange part is, he's.
But it's so interesting to me to. I mean, it's very much like and obviously like the idea of having some sort of death match is also very problematic. But it's like the idea of like just imagining a world where we like yes, this is satire, but like if we kind of take the satire out of it, like what if we did reimagine the world in a way where like we did actually billionaires paid what they were supposed to pay, to actually benefit the rest of us, and how much better everything would be and how much more peaceful things would be. Anyway.
I completely agree. But one can hope right now. I don't know. I'm very mad at the world right now,
Oh
Patrick.
man. Yeah, I hear you.
I live in DC. I'm coming from you
Oh
from
my
DC,
goodness,
so
you're
I
like
am in
ground
the
zero.
thick of. I'm in ground zero, sir.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you for sharing all that because I think that's very inspiring for all of those creatives that might be starting out or been in the game like you and I for a long time. It's all a process, and you got to keep
It's
at
a
it
yeah,
and
it is
pushing it.
it
Yeah,
is. And also I would say, I mean, like, listen, I'm in my mid 40s. I've had other thoughts of what my life was going to be like. I did
yeah,
not expect to be doing comics as much. I always wanted to do, especially since 2010, I very much wanted to be doing comics, but I thought I was going to get more stuff out earlier, and then I thought it was going to be a slower thing. And instead, it was just kind of like not like just kind of grinding away and doing stuff. And then all of a sudden, it just went like boop, and beneath the trees just kind of popped out of nowhere. Um, and so it's the biggest thing though I can say, and this is the exact same thing with film, is that a lot of it is just like a marathon. And
yes,
like if you can just stay in it longer, like don't go for broke, like definitely do it with the side income, and like do keep working with like a way to still support yourself that doesn't depend on the art.
yep.
And then that's it sooner, at some point like something will probably happen, and then you'll get a foot in the door or whatever.
Definitely. Never give up. Never give up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm with you on that, Patrick. I dabble in both film and comics and podcasting.
Yeah,
I started this at the start of the pandemic to just give love and light to my fellow creatives in both in
sure.
film and comics. So yeah, never give up. And also to your point earlier in regards to the difference in both writing scripts in comics and writing film. It's different muscles. I find
Oh yeah,
myself a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of times when I do my screenplays that I'm still doing some storyboards to go along with it because of that
Sure,
comic side of the house where I'm doing that there in some fashion. But
sure,
because I
sure,
think
sure.
visually, it's
Oh
I'm a
yeah,
big
yeah, yeah.
creative all the way around. Yeah,
I am the same way. And what's interesting though is like when I do screenplays, a lot of the time, like I find I'm writing them for a lot more people than I am with scripts for comics.
mm,
Obviously, like I'm most of the stuff I'm doing right now, I hope to be writing for other artists, but like all the stuff I'm drawing.
yeah,
So I'm writing it for myself. I try to still write it as if I'm writing it to another person just to keep that practice going so that when hopefully that does happen, won't be a big shift for me. But the the idea though of like writing a screenplay is like one, it probably hadn't been financed yet. So you're gonna be writing this for like hopefully somebody that believes in it enough that they'll want to put money into it. And so
yep,
you're trying to like make it a fun read,
yeah,
you know what I mean? In a way that's like, which I still kind of do with the comic scripts, but like you're also maybe like making it not as you're kind of dumbing it down a bit so that like some people will get it.
yeah,
And there's certain like I've had to like do dumbed down versions of certain things just so like because a lot of people might not get where you're coming from or whatever. And so the anyway, so I found that I haven't had to really do that with comic scripts as much. Because there's only like a handful of people that are going to be like reading that thing.
yeah.
And so it's just kind of it's an interesting difference in that regard too.
Definitely, definitely. A lot of interesting muscles to work, but a very rewarding one too. And
Oh,
I
for sure.
think
Yeah.
both help benefit each other in different
Oh, for sure.
respects.
I mean, I mean, it's storytelling. So
Yeah.
like but you just have so many different tools in the bag with each medium for sure.
Agreed. So free for all, you came up with the concept. I love it. It's such a fun ride. Again, let me remind everybody, April 30th, hit up your LCS, your local comic shop. Let them know you want free for all from Patrick Horvath when it drops from Oni Press. Second printing, brand new edition. So which came first? So we talked a little bit of, how it kind of came together. Did you have the concept of this husband and wife about to battle it out? For
No,
those
that
that
totally
also,
came
I'll try
separate.
not to spoil for those that haven't read
Oh,
it yet.
sure, sure.
But what did you love most about, and what did you kind of take in this journey as we go through this, and maybe if you want to kind of describe the story a little bit in your own way.
Sure. The main conceit of it all was the first thing that grabbed me. But as I was putting it together, another big inspiration I haven't talked about yet was this book by Scott McCloud, who's, if anybody's familiar, like Scott McCloud, sort of like the I don't even know how, but he's like everybody's like sort of fun uncle that loves spreading the love of comics, and his
Indie legend.
very very informative understanding comics is a terrific book to look at. And I've even seen people like that have take issue with the stuff that he does in that book, which I don't. I love the book.
Yeah.
But I love that we at least have a place to start to discuss stuff, and the idea of like there is like a method to understanding comics, right? And even if it's not his method, like there is a method, and there's ways to sort of work with it, and there's ways to explore new stuff. And like I love that, like that conversation is a conversation to have because it's an art form. And anyway, so so Scott McCloud had his big comic that he did a run on was Zot. And then also around the early, I think it was like late 80s, early 90s, he did this one-off called Destroy with like 2 exclamation points. And it's literally like these 2 superheroes going at each other, destroying Manhattan, like in the wake of their huge fight. And it's very like technically fairly accurate. Like he walked Manhattan and kind of like plotted out how the fight would destroy things and whatever. And it's a terrific book, and it's just like over the top. And it was very meant to be over the top. And even the like it printed as an oversized, like everything about it was huge, right?
Yeah.
And like very violent. And I was just like, and at the time when I came up with Free For All, I was like, I would want to do just like a very violent kind of over the top spectacle thing like that. But once I got through the first fight, I was also kind of like, well, I want to do something, I want more like than just like a fight. And then I came up with the central conflict between Luella Dominguez and Ted Brooks, and that they used to be lovers and they had a falling out, and then they were going to like head off in this fight, in this free for all. And so to me, that was kind of the main beating heart of the whole story. Having Luella was super important, I realized, and that's kind of how that came together. Like I very much realized like this was her story that we're telling. And then we're also getting to the idea. It brought in so much stuff, like between just like relationships, and also how like relationships sort of can be broken apart against the the back of capitalism, and then also the idea of like toxic cyclical stuff that could be broken possibly for in order to like new generations to kind of get beyond that. And anyway, it brought in so much stuff to the story that I was just really grateful that popped in my head.
Amazing. Again, fun ride, short, sweet, simple, easy to consume, but you created such a very interesting world, and questions like, and actually so when I did some homework on you and found out that you're a filmmaker like myself outside of comics, you and I are kind of the same kind of kindred kind of guy. My one of the big questions I had that I wanted to ask you, and I'm going to ask you now, because I don't know about you, I use comics as also a testing ground for films when we don't have that budget, and I think it's a great way for us as filmmakers as well that do dabble in both. If you're to make a big budget, if we get some money bags watching this interview right now, producers, and they were like, Patrick, let's turn this into a big feature, how much, what would you expend out? Would you do you have any ideas for like a full-on free-for-all feature if you're to get some eyes on this like that?
I had I mean, I've pitched it as a animated feature because I feel like it would be really interesting. I'm super excited.
And you can do a lot more with animation. Yeah.
I'm doing like mature audience animation that would could be violent or play for just like adults or whatever. I would very much would like have this at the core, but would expand out Luella and how she came to fight into the free for all. And then basically like would build in a lot more of like how that came to be. Without spoiling too much.
I want to know the relationship.
Well, the other thing that was really interesting to me as well is like how I would after having done just this little one-off, there's obviously a lot more that I could do with it. And would like to do with it. Like it's a one-off, and it was very much meant to just be able to like, I didn't have a ton of time to spend on it, obviously. So like I just wanted to have a thing that was this like consumable little cathartic thing, right?
Yeah.
That you could pick up and put down and would maybe give you something to think about, but would also be satisfying enough to be done with. And then, but it's still like I have a horrible time of like not just letting stuff go. So like I very much like I would not be surprised if I come back to this world at some point. I mean, I have a ton of ideas of stuff to do with it. So we'll see.
Awesome. I love it. Well, I won't mess you up in case we have people listening or, and haven't read it yet, but I enjoyed my time with it. Obviously, as a creative, there's so many things you could rock and go and expand out. Like, I would love to see it. Who'd you cast, maybe?
Man, I don't even know. Know. Who would be good?
Yeah.
I'd have to have a thing. You know what's weird is like, I've also
Michelle Rodriguez for Luella Dominguez.
I mean, I feel like, yeah, why not? It's funny because I also haven't done film stuff. Like I haven't directed anything since like 2015.
Okay.
And which is 10 years ago. So like I also feel like I'm like so out of the loop and like who I would cast now. That I don't even know. It wouldn't be fair. So just throw names out.
I respect that.
Michelle Rodriguez would be like total badass. So I mean,
I could definitely see her throwing down, and but
yes,
I respect
very easily.
But this was a fun ride, and again, everybody
that.
Pick it up April 30th at your LCS second printing free for all. Patrick Horvath. I had a great time with this, Patrick. Really loved the art, the style. It really got me in that good mood, and just obviously, like I said, the storyline. It's helping me get my frustration out with the world right now here in DC.
Yeah. I'm not grateful for the times, but I'm grateful it can be a bit of a place for you to do that.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for Free for All. Is there anything else we can maybe throw some love and light on, and if not, or also throw some socials out there for people to follow you and check you out as other projects come along?
The easiest way is if you just go to patrickhorvath.com, like you can find my Instagram there. I have a newsletter there. It's the easiest way to keep up with me. The other thing I got going this year is the next book for Beneath the Trees, which I believe will be coming out this summer. And I'm knee deep in that right now.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to diving into that. I saw some of the pieces on that when I was doing my research. Very excited to check that out, and would love to have you back as those come along, so I can do some more virtual flowers and do some promo on that.
Oh man, it would be a pleasure.
My man, everybody, the amazing Patrick Horvath, Free for All drops April 30th at your LCS. The new second printing. If you missed out, go check it out, cop it, enjoy the ride like I did, and let's demand more Free for All, because as you hear, and from me and then from Patrick, he has ideas. I got some ideas. I would love to collab, but let's start a hashtag, more Free for All. There you go. The amazing Patrick Horvath. I'm Kuya P. Nerds rule the world.
Nerds rule the world.
Pleasure chatting with you. Love to all my nerds who rule the world.
Yeah. Nerds rule the world.
Yes, we do.
Thanks. Nerds rule the world. Thank you.
I love the nerds ruling the world, so more power to you.
Patrick, what up, man? And yes, they do. Nerds rule the world, kid.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Awesome. Kuya P, Nerds Rule the World. Hello.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Oh,
Nerds rule the world.
I got.
It's in the title of your show, like Nerds rule the world. Like, I want more Black weirdos on screen, and I don't feel like we ever get to see that very much.
Thank you so much. Nerds do rule the world.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Nerds rule.
Love
Hello, Sarah. Hello, Julian. Rock on. I love it. Thank you so much.
It's good to see you. I love Nerds Rule the World.
But yeah, there's a heavy nerd component, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you ask me, nerds rule the world. So
Absolutely.
And you're right, nerds do rule the world.
We're just the best.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
Nerds so much.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
It's your boy Kuya P. Nerds rule the world. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
do. They rule the world all right.
Yes. Take care, Tony. Thank you, guys. Go.
No.
Yeah, it hurt. All right, we're
Oh,
good,
I'm
sir.
sorry to hear that. Yeah. That it happens. You know what? I mean, I just did some recording maybe like 3 weeks ago, and like half of it, the mic would just cut out.
Maybe it was the same time. Maybe Zoom had a bug or something.
Hey, listen, man. I'm. It's so funny because like sometimes it's everything works like a charm, and then other times you're like, how does anything work? like how does anything like if you've ever got, I don't know if you do coding or anything. But like it seems like the smallest little thing will make everything not work. And then you're just kind of like, I don't know how anything works, man. This is crazy.
Yeah. That's kind of like the state of the world right now, but I won't get into politics. Let's have some fun. I'm gonna count us in to help me with my edit. Cool. All right, here we go. In a 1, 2, 3.